WordPress 7.1 comes with a lot of new features and improvements. Let's go and discover them together in this video. We can now easily apply custom styling for tablet, desktop, and mobile. Pseudo-state styles are finally here too, but for now they are only available for buttons. Two new blocks are coming to the block editor, the tabs block and the audio playlist block. There are many improvements in revisions, notes, image editing, and many other useful things that we will discover together. A big thanks to Omnisend for sponsoring this video. If you run an e-commerce with WordPress, Omnisend might be the best solution to handle your email marketing. They even offer a 5 days free migration if you switch from Klaviyo or other platforms. But my favorite feature is MCP connection. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT and ask anything from email marketing management to deep data analysis. All the Omnisend platform power is right at your fingertips, inside the AI tools you already use daily. When you switch to Omnisend, you can save up to 35%. If you're interested, go and check my link in the description box down below. And now, let's dive into WordPress 7.1 new features. Let's have a look at WordPress 7.1. We see that now we have responsive styles. Let me show you how this works. If I stretch the window here, and I switch to tablet viewport or to mobile, as you can see, my styles changes. This is mobile, for example, this is tablet, and this is desktop. And let me show you how this works. In the previous version of WordPress, we weren't able to switch to mobile editing. As you can see here, I just have a preview, but I cannot change my styles based on my device. But in new WordPress, I can do that. There is a new feature and it works pretty well. As soon as you enable this, you will see that you will have all these three viewports that you can select, desktop, tablet, and mobile. And if you switch to tablet, for example, in this case, you see that I have decided to change the direction of this text only for tablet. And when we are on mobile, I decided to bring it again at the center. I really like this design, by the way. Let me know if you like it in the comments. Here you can change everything, basically. You see that we have this label now, which means that we are editing responsive style. In this case, we are on tablet, and we can go ahead and change whatever we want. These styles are also changeable in the Styles tab. So if you go here and you decide to change the global blocks here, you can do that and you can change, for example, let's say image. You will say that you will have a tablet view now in this case. And if we switch to mobile, we are changing images on mobile and so on. So you basically can enable global responsive styling. You will also see all your responsive styles when you head over the site editor. You click on styles. You scroll down to blocks, for example, and you will be able to go ahead and change the states. You see here. So when you're editing also from this screen here, you will be able to set up all the design settings for each device. And I can even change colors if I prefer. My text here, it is pink here, and then on tablet, it is white. Currently, there are no way in the UI to set custom breakpoints, but you can do that using the theme JSON. I really hope that they will ship this UI in WordPress 7.2. Another highly requested feature since many years has been pseudo-state styling. In fact, now we can do that finally in WordPress 7.1 on buttons only, but this feature might be extended to many other blocks in WordPress 7.2. But let me show you how this works. You can go ahead into any button and you can click on a single button, and you will see that here, when you click on the three dots, you have pseudo-states: default, hover, focus, focus visible, and active. When you go, for example, to hover, you can style everything about this button when a mouse hovers it. I can change the background color, and I can even use a gradient if I prefer. I can test it here. And this is my new effect when someone hovers the button. You can also go ahead and change this in a global way. You can access the global blocks design. You select the single button, and you can set up everything about your pseudo-states. As you can see here, there is this new item, identity, that I can select if I want to change the site title, the site tagline, site logo, and site icon. Also, another small improvement is the fact that now when you select a specific color scheme in your user profile, let's say I want to select this one, light, as you can see, it will be reflected also in the site editor, and this wasn't happening before. In older versions of WordPress, we had this avatar here in a squared design, and now we have it rounded. Now, instead of the old dashboard icon, we have your own favicon logo here in the top left side of your website. And now in WordPress 7.1, as you can see here, we always have our administration bar visible. The command palette has been enhanced. As you can see here, the design, it's a little bit more modern and polished. And we also have recent navigations And we have suggestions. Now it's easier to attach and detach images to pages and posts. If you click here on the plus icon and go to media, you will find, for example, all the media that has been attached to this page. If I want to attach new images, I can just use this button. And if I want to, I can easily go ahead and detach them. This is a cool feature because you can also go ahead now and display dynamically all the attached features using the gallery block. I can go to the settings and click Use Images Attached to this post. There are now some settings that have been moved around. For example, now if you want to change the layout of your blocks, the layout settings, you found it previously under the settings tab, but now they are in the styles tab. As you can see here, I have no layout settings, but if I select the styles tab, I will scroll down here and I will find the layout settings right here. And if I want to see the content width and the wide width, I have to enable them here, clicking on the layout options. Another change is in the styles tab. You see here, this is WordPress 7.1, and the colors are no more grouped like this, like text, heading, and overlay. But here in the first step, we have the typography settings. And if you want to enable, for example, text color, you have to enable this using the menu here and enable the typography color. Then here I have my overlay color and overlay opacity, as I had before. And if I scroll down under elements, I have my heading colors. So if you do not find immediately some settings that you were used to in WordPress 7.1, as you can see, some of these have been moved around. The notes feature has received some enhancements now. If I select a text or any element, any block inside my design, I can go ahead and leave a note just by clicking here on Add Note. And now I can even mention my teammates. For example, I can tag my editor, I can comment, and I can even use rich text. In this example, I've used italic, bold, and I even insert a link. Add note. My editor will receive an email notification. Not only that, if I want to, I can even now comment and leave notes on specific bits of text. For example, if I select this and I decide to add a note here, as you can see, my note will be referred exactly to this specific portion of the text. Now, if I'm working on a block and I want to apply the styles that I'm creating globally to all the other blocks, I can go and use the styles and apply globally. Previously, when I click it here, it applied all my styling to all the other blocks of the same kind. For example, in this case, I'm using the tab block. But now, when I click on Apply Globally, I can see exactly what I am applying globally. Let's say that in this case, I do not want to apply the background color globally, so I uncheck this and I leave the rest as it is, and I click on Apply. And voila, as you can see, now the tab panels of the other tab blocks have the same design, but they have not the same background color. Now, in previous versions of WordPress, it wasn't able to use a background color together with a background image. While right now in WordPress 7.1, you can do that. So if you choose a block that has a background image setting, as you can see now here, the background settings are grouped all together. You can go ahead and add an image, and then you can go ahead and add a color or even a gradient. And if you use transparency, this is going to work perfectly with the background image. This wasn't possible before unless you use the cover block. Now we have a new editor modal when we use the crop feature in images. And what happened in the previous versions of WordPress was this. When you clicked on crop, you had this interface, pretty minimal and quite difficult to understand how it works. And in the new version of WordPress, in the 7.1, when you click on the crop icon, this one here, when you are working in the site editor, in the block editor, you will find this beautiful modal that will let you edit your image as you want. You can rotate it if you want, just by dragging and dropping the mouse here. You can also use the rotate feature if you want to do it by 90 degrees. Then you can flip the image. You can zoom or dezoom. You can change the aspect ratio. Let me select 1:1, for example, a square. And staying on the same screen, you can also change the details of the image. Title, alt text, caption, and so on. Let me save this image now, and voila, my edited image is now in place. Now the revisions system has also been enhanced. This was the old version in WordPress 7.0, and now we have some new elements in the interface, like for example this beautiful step-by-step visual timeline connected to all our edits. And we can also easily share these revisions with our collaborators. If I select this one, for example, and I go here in my URL and I copy it and paste it, I can share it with my teammates, and it's going to open up that specific revision right inside the browser. Now, if you're using the query loop block, for example, for related posts in your blog post template or in any other custom post type, you can go and select custom, and you can use the filters to now exclude the current post. And this is just going to be a simple switch. There it is. We have now in WordPress 7.1 a beautiful audio playlist block that you can find just by typing playlist. There it is. And you can use it to upload your music directly from your library. As you can see, you can start from this very basic design and you can go and create any kind of playlist styles. You can also decide to show or hide any element inside here. And for each track, you can also add your artist, album title, and even the track image. You can also change the waveform and play button and the waveform background colors, and even the shapes. Now in WordPress 7.1, there is a new block, which is a tab block. This is very useful in many different scenarios. And as you can see here, it's very easy to use. You just search for the tab block, you give a name to your tabs, you can add or remove tab as you wish. And when you select a tab, you can insert the content. And as always, you can insert whatever you want inside here. Then you can go and select the tab list, which is going to make you style the tab items. And you can do the same for the tab panels. And then you can select the main tabs block to manage the last layout settings. And voila, this is my new design tab block. Now in WordPress 7.1, the Abilities API is more mature and standardized. It will give AI agents a much cleaner and more reliable way to understand and interact with WordPress. WordPress 7.1 comes with a new Icons API that will let plugin developers and theme developers add their own icons here inside the icon library. If you want to dive deeper in all the new features coming to WordPress 7.1, I invite you to check the WordPress 7.1 source of truth on gutenbergtimes.com website. A few important points to know. Real-time collaboration was expected to ship in WordPress 7.1, but it has been postponed. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about WordPress 7.1? What are your thoughts? I'm curious to know how you're using right now AI inside WordPress, because without doubt, this is the most important thing to learn to do with WordPress nowadays. And now I will leave you here with one of my latest videos. If you want to go and check it out, do it. My name is Pascal, this is WP Roads, and I wish you all the best with WordPress and beyond. See you next time.